Hi folks. I'm guessing you remember this background, so I'm hoping for a lot of you this is bringing back some really cool memories from last year. I thought I would write a script for this video and then I decided against it because it kind of goes against the theme of what I'm trying to go for. I've made a few bullet points here that I want to talk about, but mainly this video is going to be about two things, and that's stress and purpose. Let's get into it, shall we? As you can tell from my voice, I am chilling out, just had a few beers, maybe done a bit of other things as well. Nothing hard, don't worry. But I'm just chilling out here, sitting at my office, because I think I'm done for Christmas now. I think I've had enough. As somebody who's self-employed, like, I generally work whenever I want to, or I take jobs whenever I want to, and my last class is now done. So I'm thinking for Christmas I may be done. I may be at capacity right now. We're currently sitting at the 23rd, so I figured it'd be about high time for me to do a video on stress. Not just that, but stress linked to purpose, which is something that I identify and really struggle with myself. Do you know that feeling of waking up in the morning and not wanting to get up, not wanting to move, not wanting to go about your day and do things? That's generally what I'm talking about. The amount of times I've laid there in bed and just thought, you know, what am I here for? What am I doing? How am I reacting to things? What is my purpose? Like, why am I getting up to do a video? Why am I getting up to go to this class? I know earning money, but, like, aside from that, like, what am I here for? It's an existential dread. It's an existential feeling that everybody gets when I think they get into their 30s. You may be getting it before then as well, but mainly I think you're getting it when you get into your 30s and you start analysing your life and where you are and where you want to go. And I've been getting a lot of messages from patrons mainly, and other people as well, who've asked me to do a video on our next hobby talk, which is this one, about stress. And I figured I'd put purpose in there as well, because the main thing that I stress about in life is my purpose. It's... When you look at it in cold, hard light of day, we're here to procreate, and in that I've succeeded, right? I have a daughter, a beautiful daughter, and she's amazing. She's playing the violin now, which is incredible, and also extremely annoying. But, like, you know, you got to nurture these things. You got to nurture these things in the young people and make sure that they're getting it out there. And she's awesome. And so for that, generally, my work here is done, you know? I want more kids eventually, hopefully, but... You know, I'm pretty much done. So what is my purpose now? Is my purpose to teach? Is it to talk to you guys? Is it to, you know... And it's so easy to lose sight of what your purpose is. And what I mean by that is, every single time I receive an email from you or a message from you saying, listen, you've helped me out with this, that, or the other, there are some days where it really lights a fire under me. And when I say light a fire under me, I don't mean like I go working crazy. I mean... I'm determined to enjoy the rest of my day because I've done something good for somebody, you know? And there are other days when my brain won't let me enjoy it. It won't let me sit down and just say, hey, you should enjoy this. I've got other things to worry about, you know? I don't really have time to sit and smell the roses when I really should. So I'd like you to sit there and kind of think about what you do in life and where you are and where you want to go. That is the main thing that is about our purpose, is what we're put on earth to do. And I would actually like you to sit back and think about what you do, about where you are. Are you in college? Are you doing stuff? Now let's look at the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is you're not employed. You're unemployed, and you say you have debt, you're unemployed, or you're in a job that you hate. Those two things, right? We need to accept that that's where you are, number one. That's the one thing that I did in my life for ages, is that I wouldn't accept that I was miserable. I wouldn't accept that I was in a place that needed to change. Because I was too afraid of sitting in that place for a little while before things got better. Do you know what I mean? I did that in London. I was living in London and I was miserable, and I was not ready to admit that I was miserable, because if I admitted that, I would have to live in it for a few months before things ever changed, and I was terrified of doing that. Deep down, I was terrified of doing that. Now, eventually I did that, and I came home, and I sorted it out myself, and I got another job at home that I didn't like. I had a come to Jesus moment again, and I left again. And it's only that with this channel and with teaching that has really brought out the best in me. I'm so grateful that I have this channel to to bring that out in me and to be that purpose, that thing that I do that helps people. Teaching as well, you know. It gives me that purpose and it actually lets me help people. So what I would like you to do is if you are miserable in your current situation, you're unemployed or whatever, let's make a few notes about what you want your purpose to be. Because what you want your purpose to be should be your purpose. If you're good at drawing, your purpose should be to illustrate and bring joy to people that way. If you can play guitar really well, you know, we were going to move through it that way. Anything that you're good at, anything that you can actually put aside and think, hey, actually, I enjoy doing this and I want to do this. Go for it, right? Doesn't matter if it doesn't make you any money. Do you really think like making YouTube videos made me money or makes me money? No, not really. Right? Teaching doesn't really make me money. Everything bolted in together kind of makes me solvent. You know, I've got enough money for my rent, and I've got enough money to put away some savings once a month. That's it, though. You know, I take care of the people who need taken care of, and then I'm pretty much skinned for the rest of the month. So, another thing I wanted to talk about was the joy of perspective. Sorry, I'm just getting a message from my mother there. The joy of perspective. The joy of perspective being, it's very easy, and you will get this all of the time, is that it's very easy to look at other people in the world and say, they've got it better than me, they've got everything that I want, they've got everything that I need. The joy perspective is pulling back and saying, well, actually, they're a hot mess. They're likely a hot mess. No matter what kind of a life they think that they're leading, or you think that they're leading, they've got their own problems, man. Everybody in the world is dealing, trust me. Everybody on Earth is dealing. It sucks. Being here sucks, and we've just got to try and make it as good as possible for each other. In terms of stress, here's the thing with the hobby, right? And this is when the hobby's going to come into it. We're 5 minutes, 6 minutes into the video. I'm finally going to start talking about the hobby. If the hobby ever causes you stress, if you ever play somebody in a game, if you ever have your work critiqued, or if you ever have your painting critiqued, or something that gives you stress, there is nothing wrong with saying no to that stress. This is the thing that people never seem to tell anybody when it comes to stress. They say, calm down, take some meds, go and sit on your own for a while. They never say tackle the problem, right? If you can remove stress from your life without it tanking your life in any serious way, leave. Leave. I'm giving you permission to give up. You know, people say, never give up. No, I'm giving you permission. If what you're doing is not adding to your life in any way and is causing you stress, leave. Leave. The hobby counts as well. Let's look at it from this point of view. You're playing a game with somebody called James. He's playing Tau, right? And James is a really toxic player. When I say toxic player, I mean he's really getting up your nose. You're getting to the point where you're very ready to just, like, take a dice and ram it down his throat and never see this guy ever again, right? You're getting really annoyed. You are absolutely, you know, stressed out. You're digging your hands into the table. You really, really, really want to just turn the table over and walk away. You should leave. I'm not shitting you. A lot of people will say, no, stick it out, stay there, or he'll win. This isn't a competition, dude. This is not a competition. Look into the inside of who you are and what you want and how you want to feel. And if what you're doing right now, this is a hobby, by the way. If what you're doing in your hobby isn't fulfilling you, fucking leave. Walk. Go away. Do something else. Even if it's nothing. Doing nothing is better than what you're doing now. Because what you're doing now is a net negative. We want either a neutral or a net positive. But what you're doing now is a net negative, completely. If you're staying in the situation, you are sitting in boiling water and complaining it's hot. Right? I'm going to switch that fucking thing off, because that's stressing me out now as well. So yeah. You are literally sitting in the hot water and complaining it's hot. That's literally what you're doing. That's all you're doing right now. Now, a lot of people will hear that advice and say, well, you know, you're enabling people to be little snowflakes and things like that. No, look. If you need to deal, if you need to do shit, if you need to handle your business, right? If your job's stressful, here's the thing, there's always a way out. If your job's stressful, try and find another one. Try and find another one. Try and put money away so you can do some training and go and do something else. If you really can't hack it, try and live with somebody for a few months for free. Say, look, I have nothing. Can I stay with you for a while? You'll find hard pressed to find anybody in this world who doesn't have somebody like that with who they can say, you know, one of two of you, and I know this for a fact, for one or two of you on the Discord, that person's me. And I've never met you before. But you could say, hey, I'm shitting myself right now. I don't have anywhere to live because I'm stressed out. I've left my job. I need to reset my life. Can I stay with you for a few months? And I would say yes. Right? And if I will do that for a stranger, and I'm the most curmudgeonly, dickheadish person you probably know, right? If I will do that for a stranger, anybody will do that for a stranger. Like there will be a lot of people in your life that you'll be surprised by. You say, hey man, I'm struggling. I need to reset my life. I need to go and do some training. I need a few months rent free so I can save up some things. There's always a way out of the predicament. This is what I don't like when people say, you know, you remember that phrase that I say when there's like, when I say, there's nothing a coward loves than when a brave man fails. Most of the people who will tell you it's not that easy. Most of the people who will tell you you can't just do that. You can't just do that. Most of those people are fucking crabs. Right? You're trying to climb out the bucket, and one of these crab motherfuckers is pulling you and saying, you can't leave, you've got to sit here and be miserable with me. No, I'm afraid I can leave. I'm afraid I can go whenever I want. I can just drop this and leave, thank you. Right? I have a friend of mine, who I'm not going to name, who is going through a divorce, or has just gone through a divorce. And so her husband back in the day, they were together for a long time, for quite a long time. And later on in the relationship, he started exhibiting quite a lot of toxic behavior and things that she didn't quite like. He was very negative. He was very overly aggressive. He was always complaining about his job, about his work, and how it made him miserable. And they had a nice house, a nice life. They were doing financially, they were doing okay. And she would say to him, well, look, why don't you stop spending money on booze and all the other shit, right? Put some money aside, quit your job, find something else. Or put some money aside for us, quit your job, and go and do some training. Go and figure out what you want to do. Of course, he didn't want to do that. He's a crab. He wanted to sit in the bucket and never move anywhere. He was quite happy being miserable. He just wanted other people to be miserable with him. Right? What happened there is that eventually she snapped and left him. And now he's got even less. She snapped and left him. Now, he's about to get a very good financial windfall. I think he did. In the end, got a very good financial windfall from the divorce and all that. But what did he do with it? He stayed in the same job, the one that made him miserable, and it looks like he's going to piss that money up the wall. Right? That's what it looks like. Neither of them know that I do this channel. By the way, I've kept it away from some of my friends, just so, you know, that's why I'm not naming any names. So this is what it is. That's why I don't let you know. I don't let you know who I am, because sometimes I like to use things from my life as examples. This is one of them, right? Like he's not going to use that money to do anything other than medicate himself with booze and drugs and stuff. So let me just analyze that situation. This guy has a chance to reset his life. This guy has a chance now. He's lost the one thing. The worst has happened. He's lost the one thing that was keeping him sane. Now he's got a chance to reset his life. He's living somewhere rent-free with a very big financial windfall. He now has the wherewithal to quit his job for a year or two and live quite comfortably and find out what he wants to do in life and set himself up for the rest of his life. Not to be rich or to be hugely into anything, but just to be happy. Just to be a net neutral and happy. But he won't do that because he's a crab. And all he wants to do is pull other people down with him. So if anybody tells you it's not that easy, it's not that simple, they're wrong. It is that easy, it is that simple. It really is. Look at your life, analyse it, analyse where the stress is, and if you can cut it out, cut it out. If you can't cut it out, find out a way where you can eventually cut it out. It's so simple. It really is. I know it sounds like I'm really making it trivial, It's because it is. When you sit back and you analyse it, it is. It's exactly the same thing about the toxic guy you're playing. We're playing James and his tower, right? Exactly the same. James is being really toxic. Do we really know James? Yes, like we hang around with him and our friend group and all that sort of thing. Right, have we warned James that we don't like his behaviour at the table? Yes. Has he listened? No. Well, at this point, I'm just going to walk away. I'm done. Because he is now introducing a net negative into my life that I don't need. So see you later. I don't need to put up with it. See ya. Done. It really is that simple. And that is the most controversial thing I'm going to say in this video, I think. In that you can just walk away. It is within your power to just walk away. Say, I'm done. I'm good, thank you. I'm all good. I don't need this, thank you. Of course, as I just said, there are things in life where you have to suck it up and do. But that doesn't mean you can't make plans to be rid of it eventually. If you're working in a bar and you hate it like I did, I made a plan. I made a plan. How much money do I need? You know, when can I leave? When is the earliest opportunity when I can leave? Okay, and I left at that date. I made my money and I left. Cut it out. Got rid of it. Right? I always had that light at the end of the tunnel as well. So, okay, I've got that date. I can leave. I can leave. I can leave. I can leave. And then I fucked them off. In a really comedic way as well. I just fucked them off completely. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be at that shift. Sorry. No. Like, I waited until they pushed me because they were arseholes with me. They really were. I waited until they asked me to cover a shift, even though I said I was going to see my kid. And I'd booked it for ages that I was going to see my kid in this day. They asked me to cover a shift, and I said I can't. Then they threatened my job, and I told them to shove the job where it fucking didn't, where the sun didn't shine. And I left, and I never looked back, right? Never looked back. Same thing with Games Workshop. Same thing with Games Workshop. I was unhappy. I saw a date. Said, right, that's my leaving date. That's when I'm going. That's when I'm going. Right, that's when I'm going to do it. My contract was up, right? I went for my interview just to see if they'd give me it. And before I even got any phone call or anything like that, I went home, spoke to my girlfriend at the time, and decided, you know what, I'm leaving, fuck it. And I left. Just left. So, this is what I mean. Always look for that date. If there's something that you can't get out of because you just can't right now, look for that date. Look for your exit strategy. Same thing. You can apply this to jobs, relationships, friendships, anything. Even situations. You could be in a fucking war zone. You could be in the army. You could be in a war zone and be like, this sucks. This sucks. I do not want to be here. This is effing my brain up. When's the first date where you can check out? When's the first date when you can leave the army? Okay, that's your date. Go. But do not come back for another tour. Right? Don't complain and say, oh, that sucked, that. Anyway, I'm going back now. Like, the definition of insanity is doing exactly the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. The definition of a depressive person who will never get better is doing the same thing over and over and over again that makes them feel shitty, expecting to feel better. It's not going to work. Right? Not going to work at all. What else do I have to talk about here? I mean, we've gone over purpose. We've gone over stress. Oh, yeah. Give yourself a break. That's one of the other things I wanted to talk about. Giving yourself a break. I am one of the most... I am my own worst cricket. I don't play cricket. Oh, I'm not a bug. I am my own worst critic. Like, I literally... I'm a bit of a self-loather. And the way that manifests sometimes is that if somebody has a go at me, I will have a go at them right back. And I'll turn the volume up to 10. And be like, no, you can go fuck yourself. Because I hate myself enough. I don't need you adding to it. So I respond, not violently, but very verbally, saying, no, go fuck yourself. Like, if you... I already don't like myself. I don't need you compounding the issue. Thank you. And that's unfair on them, because they may not know that's how I feel, right? The whole world doesn't need to stop and analyse how I'm feeling. It's not their problem. It really isn't their problem. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to react in a way that you know, is going to be harsh when it happens to me. Best thing to do in this scenario is to give yourself a break. It's something that I've had to learn to do for years now. It's taken me so long. And I still fail at it 7 out of 10 times. 7 out of 10 times I need to give myself a break, I fail. I obsess. I get stressed out. I feel like I'm a fraud. I'm not good enough. I can't do anything. And I can't function, right? Eventually, though, that goes away. And the sky is still above and the ground's still down below. Learning to give yourself a break sometimes is as simple as... The other night, right? The other night, I was procrastinating because I didn't know what to do with my evening, because I had finished all my work, I'd finished my recording, didn't know what to do with my evening. And I know for a fact, a couple of years ago, I would have sat here all night and done nothing. And I would have even have installed a game on Steam, played it for 2 minutes, and then uninstalled it again and just watched YouTube videos. In the end, I stood up, said, no, I'm going to do something productive. I've always wanted to watch the cyberpunk anime. So I went to bed, got my laptop, and watched it, start to finish. With a big mug of hot cocoa. Watched it from start to finish. Loved every minute of it, and then afterwards, I did a bit of writing, because I was then enthused, and I was really wanted to write, and I went and did some writing, right? Because I gave myself a break. I didn't sit here torturing myself over and over and over and over again in procrastination, right? Another amazing thing to do, if you're a hobbyist who has these procrastinating thoughts, go and paint. Force yourself to paint. Because painting is one of those amazing things. Or gluing together. You know, whichever part of the modelling, part of the hobby you like. It's one of those amazing things where you can literally sit there and not be in the mood for it. But once you start, once you're 3 or 4 minutes in, and you have a lore video in the background or something, you're in it. And it sort of overtakes and overwhelms every other emotion you've got. The amount of times I've been in a shitty, horrible mood when everything irritates me and I've just started painting or started gluing things together, and instantly, for some reason, I'm okay. I forget about it. I'm okay. The problem's still there in the back of my mind, but I'm alright. Like, I know I'm going to be okay. I cannot recommend to you enough the modelling part of our hobby in getting shit down and painting and gluing things together. Even if it's not something that you're particularly proud of, just take your mind and put it somewhere else. Painting doesn't require that much effort, neither does gluing stuff together. You're sitting there listening to an audiobook or listening to me ramble on about nothing, right? And if you are doing that, hello. Nice to be in your ears. They smell very nice. So that's what I would recommend. If you're really, really, really struggling, first things first, go and do some hobby. That's the first thing. Absolutely A1. It's one of the only hobbies I know of that completely overwhelms your depression centers, and it overwhelms your anxiety centers and all of that. It just takes over. It absolutely takes over. So, I think that's all I've got to say on depression, or not depression, on stress and purpose. Hopefully you found it entertaining. Hopefully you found it, shall I say, or dare I say, helpful. It's Christmas, guys, and if you are working in retail or anything over Christmas where you're working, my heart goes out to you. Thank you very much for helping us out and making sure that we can stay at home with our families and have a decent time, because you're out there being chads and doing a bit. It really is important to me and important to a lot of people that we get out there and we're able to have a good time. If any of you need any help, there is a new link in the community part of our page on YouTube, linking to the Discord. Come on there, talk to people. I'm planning on doing a little bit of a get-together on Christmas Eve, if I can, where I'm going to have a bit of a voice chat with everybody. I might put you in different rooms so I can come in and talk to you in 4s and 5s. But yeah, it should be quite a nice Christmas. And if I don't do it then, I might even do it on Christmas Day. I might actually do it on Christmas Day. Just to keep people entertained, keep people going. Because I know how much it really sucks this time of year if you are feeling depressed or you are feeling lonely. So, let me know if I can do that for you. Have a little discussion in the comment section down below. Love you all a long time. And I will speak to you in our next video, which may be Hobby Nightmares, or maybe a Games Workshop story on Monday, because I've got a really good one. Love you all. See you later. Have a good one.